So just taking a moment of silence before we start. Yeah.
So we were on hasn't morality helped? So maybe we can just read the whole thing, or I think we did discuss it though. If you adopt a social collective rule, you made it right, and then we had read that passage from Nirod Paran also. We can just, I think, then go to serving humanity, or should we take a? What do you suggest?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so today we'll be taking this passage, serving humanity. So if anybody is willing, it's a big one, so we'll break it into parts. If anybody is willing, we can take the first page. They can unmute and read, please.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So I'll read the passage, serving humanity. Why do we not to serve? Why do we want to serve humanity? What is your idea? It is ambition. It is in order to give a great man among men. It is difficult to understand. I can see that the divine is everywhere. So if one serves humanity, one serves the divine. Isn't that so? That is marvelous. The clearest thing in this business is to say the divine is in me. If I serve myself, I am also serving the divine. So there was laughter. In fact, the divine is everywhere. The divine will do his own work very well without you. I see quite well that you do not understand. But truly, if you do understand that the divine is there in all things, with what are you meddling in serving humanity? To serve humanity, you must know better than the divine what must be done for it. Do you know better than the divine how to serve it? The divine is everywhere. Yes, things don't seem to be divine. As for me, I see only one solution. If you want to help humanity, there is only one thing to do. It is to take yourself as completely as possible and offer yourself to the divine. This is the solution, because in this way, at least the material reality which you represent will be able to grow a little more like the divine.
Yeah, thank you, Captain. And in the Sunlit part, there are more passages in which Mother has questioned, right? Like serving and our need for, I don't know, working, even starting NGOs and doing such good, I mean, to check what the center of operation is. Because I remember her, she clearly stating that it's so much better that you don't do this, if the center of the operation is wrong, because that could actually be worse than, I mean, it will do you bad than do you good and others. Although superficially it looks that how can you even say that, right? That I am kind of working for so many people and helping, and yet what it does to my ego that I am doing it, it's not coming from the right center. And we don't even know when this creeps up, right? Like lot of times we could be starting with absolutely clean intentions, like pure intentions. So I think again, this need of constantly reminding ourselves and connecting within that I am not the center, right? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I think that's true for mostly everything, I think, in the life, in our lives, that what are my intentions? This screen sharing again. And this line also was very interesting. In fact, the divine is everywhere. The divine will do his own work very well without you. In the tales of prison life, when there was this thing that when Sri Aurobindo is being called, like when he's being told that, okay, you could be the one. He's been told that, and there are so many others who could be the one. So, and he saw so many potential candidates within the jail itself. So he was told that you're not special. Like, don't think that only you can do that. So it's so amazing that even he would need to be told that keep it in check, right? Like, so much, such a amazing example for all of us that don't let it get to our head or always keep checking the center. Yeah, inviting more reflection.
Taru, good evening. Sorry I joined late. Yeah, can you please explain what was the thing discussed just now?
Yeah, Radhaji, today we have taken this passage called Serving Humanity. So basically, we have just read the first page which says, why do we serve humanity? We can read it again. Would you like to read it? I don't know. You can read it if you would like. It's always good to reread these passages.
Yeah, I'll read.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Why do you want to serve humanity? What is your idea? It is ambition. It is in order to become a great man among men. It is difficult to understand. Yeah, I can see that. Beautiful, no? So many times when we do something to others, we always think that we are very noble. That idea comes. Or otherwise, if anybody else see, we want to become, great in front of them. Yeah, beautiful question. So the next para already discussed. The next para.
We read the full page. Yeah.
Okay, so then I'll read that also. You don't mind?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
The divine is everywhere. So if one serves humanity and one serves the divine, is not that so? That is marvelous. The clearest thing in this business is to say the divine is in me. If I serve myself, I am also serving the divine. In fact, the divine is everywhere. The divine will do his own work very well without you. I see quite well that you do not understand. But truly, if you do understand that the divine is there in all things, with what are you meddling in serving humanity? To serve humanity, You must know better than the divine what must be done for it. Do you know better than the divine how to serve it? The divine is everywhere. Yes, things don't seem to be divine. As for me, I see only one solution. If you want to help humanity, there is only one thing to do. It is to take yourself as completely as possible and offer yourself to the divine. That is the solution. Because in this way, at least the material reality which you represent will be able to grow a little more like the divine. So, what is this last para, Taru? I'm not able to understand.
Yeah, we haven't even reached there. So we were just reflecting on the first one and then we'll proceed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, madam.
Okay.
I'm reminded of, I think somewhere in his letters to teachers, Jiddu Krishnamurti was writing that you should not be a teacher because if I'm not a teacher, then you are having an identity crisis. Like, who am I if not a teacher? Because even the teacher identity would then get stuck to us because we are so sticky all the time. And he was saying that if that's the case, that if you are not a teacher, then you are like oh my God, who am I? So you better not be a teacher. So I think I can see a reflection of that here also, that whatever work we are doing, usually the crux of the matter I see is like, I think again and again we go to the sticky aspect, that we are so sticky that even if it's a good work, and we have seen, we have examples of people who have been very, very close to ashram and all the society works and everything, but there also it's like, look, I am the one who is associated with this society for a long, so the game has not changed, it's still a sticky affair, while we enter the spiritual path so that we can become non-sticky. So as Shardaji was sharing that there is some kind of superior inferior comes, that I am the giver and I am the server to humanity, and again the categorical mind is in operation, that I am the superior one and I am helping those helpless ones who are helpless. So again that categorization is there, which is the same transactional, worldly, samsaric mind. So nothing has changed really. Whenever we are in categories, actually nothing has changed. This superior, inferior, good, bad, my path is good, their path may be unworthy, not that good, I have to transform, what would happen. And also I think in this paragraph, very beautiful, that we are all dispensable. That as Taru was sharing, that if Sri Aurobindo wouldn't do it, somebody else would do it, whatever the divine wanted. So it's really amazing to see that although paradoxically we are all very, very unique, like there is nothing, nobody else like each one of us, and yet each one of us is very dispensable. Like if we are gone, the world doesn't break down. Like people have passed on, moved on, Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi, big shots who have liberated, for example, India, and they are gone, and yet the world goes on. So so I think we sometimes think that the work we are doing, oh my God, so important work, one day I can't miss, but what will happen of those people who I am helping, and world still goes on. So that's really very humbling to read and to reflect upon. And also I think in these matters, wherever we think that we are serving humanity, I think each one of us is serving humanity, whether we know it or not, and being served by the humanity also, like the clothes we wear, the houses we have, people who help us, vegetables, fruits, grow their vegetables in their farms. So we are all always being served by humanity, I think, all the time. And parallelly, we're also in bits and pieces serving humanity also. So there's, I think we can't escape this interconnection somehow. We are interconnected at a very deep level, and we can't. Somebody was asking me today that some article was there where it was said that walk this path alone, because Even if you read books and have teachers, you have to walk this path alone, nobody. So something like that. And saying that it's all theoretical knowledge or whatever you are reading in the books, or even if somebody tells you some advice, suggestion, it's all the only path is that you walk alone, something like that. And somebody asked me, what do you think about it? So I read the article, and I thought that I am actually nothing if not for people around me. So how can I say that I can do it alone? I could not get it, because starting from each material existence, the cloth, the food, the water, the air, or for everything, we are just interconnected, interdependent upon each other. So although the inward path, I see that it's alone, like that only. I cannot travel for you, you cannot travel for me. We can talk about it, but we have to travel inward on our own. I think that aloneness I can understand, but this thing that you should not take help from anyone and do it all by yourself somehow did not resonate, like I could not resonate with that. Yeah. Any reflections, any further thoughts?
Yeah. So my feeling is that those who are saying that you should walk alone and you should not be, part of everything, that's only for those who are not householders, who are not, who don't have a life with people around them. They are those sadhus and sants and who give up everything. They go to the mountains and sit alone. And even if they are not that, they go to the forest. But they are alone because they've chosen the path to be alone. But here we have a house, we have our children, we have our grandchildren, we have our husbands, and we all have a life together. But yet, as you said, the inward path is our own. That nobody can come and join us. So we cannot be alone at any time except when we are inwardly alone. That is my reflection about this, what you said.
Yeah, yeah. And even I reflected upon being a sadhu also. So if there is a sadhu who, for example, just creating an image, goes to mountain, lives somewhere, he would need food for his sustenance, some house to live, so every time we are dependent upon each other. As you said, that actually we can see that we are never alone apart from that, the inward thing. Yeah. So I felt it's like almost very arrogant to think that we can do it alone, because we can't. So to accept that we are being served and we are serving each other at all times is very grounding. It's like just grounding. Yeah, very ordinary. Yeah.
So, this inner change, if we have to change ourselves, only that we have to change by ourselves. Nobody else can do for that. Otherwise, we all, we are social animal only. We need everyone day to day, as you said, for food, for dress, everything is collaboration only. Only thing, the inward journey, what we have to take, that is very different for each individual. If I have to control my anger, only I have to control. Nobody else can tell me. They can tell me, but I have to do it. So only the changing of behaviors and attitudes can be done by themselves, not anybody else. Otherwise, we all need each other for everything. Even for progress, we all need. See, this satsang also helps us to progress, by sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And also, this the passage and what Taru was sharing, that mother has at many times reflected upon, where we want to do good to humanity, and most of the times we are just serving our egos only. So I think to be very wary of that, because as she pointed out in the beginning, what is my intention? Because most of the time, if we don't pause and look at our intention, We are just, even by social service, we are just aggrandizing our ego, nothing else. So it's very opposite of what the spiritual path should be. While I think that I'm doing really a greater good, and can be even a greater trap, because yeah. Mm.
So the shifts are very subtle, right? Like you go into it with complete, probably pure intentions, and you're doing something, and somebody comments that, wow, you're doing such a good job,
Mm.
right? And then you start looking for those comments because it did feel good. And then the center of operation changes from what can I do to what can I do to get those comments again, right? Like,
Yeah.
so just like that, like so many different examples in which it's a slow shift, it's a subtle shift that could escape us if we are not cautious, right?
Mm,
Like,
yeah, cautious is the word. I think vigilant is the word.
mhm.
And that's
Mm,
why I think that unease thing that mother talks about, that if
mm,
you are really truly genuine, authentic, working from with the soul consciousness, you are easy, you're generally easy. And even wanting praise and not wanting rejection, all this creates a lot of disturbance in the being. So, like, really, one feels really uneasy. It's not a good taste if one is used to that easy taste in the being, that not wanting anything out of whatever we are doing. So absolutely, that vigilance is, like mother says in one of the prayers, that unfaltering vigilance, a vigilance not faltering even for a moment. She uses the phrase, yes.
mm,
Yeah. And this, somebody was asking about dissolution of the ego, one day, and I was just wondering at it, and told him that I don't know at the moment of a stage that I can lose my vigilance and be really sure that, oh, I am egoless, because I don't see it happening in, not in this lifetime. So I was just telling him that the only thing that I can see is that what Kabir ji says, that as long as one has breath in the body, so long I need to be vigilant. So there is, I don't think I can reach a point, whether there is a point or not, that too I am not aware of, that one really can relax and think, and the ego is gone and one is just non-vigilant. I somehow was sharing with him that I don't see that happening. So vigilance is very important. Yes. And if we look at Saint Kabir's couplets, many of them are about being vigilant. That what Taru was sharing, that even a subtle, opening, the guard is sleeping, and something enters, and that, we begin to run through that dictate, and we don't realize the impurity that has entered. It's only that later, when it brings a lot of chaos and disturbance, we may get up that, oh my God, what am I doing? Because it will ultimately bring a lot of disturbance. Any act that goes against our soul consciousness, I think we can be really glad. It's like a red signal that sooner or later, it does bring some disturbance, some unease. Yeah.
So from that unease, we'll be able to find out that something is wrong with us,
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's a very good indicator. Yes. Like many a times, we think about certain situation and we think this is how it should be, but it's not happening the way it should go, right? So we are non-vigilant now because we are sticking to our thoughts. We are thinking, I know the best and this is how it should be happening. I don't even see that I'm sticking to my ideas so rigidly. So it goes on, non-vigilance takes over, and I'm just trying to fix that situation or person in certain manner which I think is right, and that brings a lot of disturbance in the relationship and unease and pain, also emotional pain. Yeah. So then if I can sense the pain which is there and take this step back, that, oh, I've been really believing in these thoughts, and but how can I be sure that they are true? I'm not sure. As mother was sharing in this passage, that only, those should serve the humanity who have divine consciousness. So of course, I am far away from divine consciousness. Whatever I see is through a limited window. So I can be really, really sure that whatever I'm thinking, that's not true. So let me step back. Let me step back from my rigid ideas, rigid opinions about this situation, this person, or my own self.
Yeah, this is, when we want to, we want something to happen, we think if it happened this way, it'll be good. So we want to, we sincerely pray that that should happen. Most of the times, very few times we tell the mother, may thy will be done, not mine. But, yesterday something has happened. I wanted to share, I wanted something to happen in such a way. But after some time, I realized, see, why are you praying this way? It's not the way to pray. When you surrender, you have to surrender yourself completely. But the thing, beautiful thing happened. Actually, I told the mother, I know only that I want thy will be done. But my mind is telling that this is how it should happen. But I'm not able to control my mind. So you please take this also. So, for my surprise, 2-3 times I kept on repeating because I couldn't control my mind. My mind wanted something and I didn't want whatever my mind asks. I didn't want to, I didn't want that thing to happen also. I know that it is wrong. We should not ask anything. We should not insist anything. But I told the mother, see, mother, I have this situation now. My mind says I want this should happen this way. But now I'm telling you, you please take away this, my opinion about this. May thy will be done. So I saw a beautiful video in Tamil yesterday. So something was talking about the mother only. So he was saying, when you cannot surrender yourself, you please go and sit in front of the mother and tell her, mother, I'm not able to surrender to you completely. You please take care of me. I don't know what I have to do. I'm not able to control my mind. I do not know whether I'm doing it right or wrong. I know it is 100% it's not correct. But the thing is, my mind is not listening to me. You please take care of my mind and my thought, my feeling, whole of my being. So I found that was really very beautiful. So I started repeating the same sentence in Tamil. That is why I'm not able to put it in English properly. Sorry about that. But, the content was this. I wanted something to happen this way, but I know it is not correct, but I'm not able to control my mind. You please take care of this. It was very beautiful and it worked that way. Whatever had to happen, happened yesterday. It was very nice. It was beautiful. Yeah.
That's sure. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes. Can you say that sentence in Tamil? The one that you repeated?
Yeah. அன்னையே உங்கள் திருவுள்ளம் நிறைவேறட்டும். என்னுடைய எண்ணம் வேண்டாம், தங்களுடைய திருவுள்ளம் நிறைவேறட்டும். It is, may thy will be done and not mine. So I kept on repeating this sentence so many times, without my knowledge, I just went into the sentence. So it was so beautifully, that was a different experience altogether. I've never had that experience before. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Sorry, most of the times we are slave of our thoughts and feelings. No? We are not able to come out of it. Yesterday, I could feel that. How you always say we are sticky. So we could feel that, that stickiness in that situation. Yes.
And I think these are the points, and for each one of us, they are different. So in our lives, there are few things which we can easily offer. May thy will be done, not mine. And then there are few things where may thy will be done, not mine doesn't come easy. The point that you were sharing, it's hard. So theoretically, intellectually, you may know that it's not right what you are demanding, but still you are demanding. So that's, that's a kind something old which is sticking. And it's like a machine that has been running for a long time and it has not come to a complete halt. And now these are the sticky attached patterns, and for each one of us they are different. They may be, for some it may be related to money, for some it may be related to somebody, like a person. So for some it may be related to work, like workplace and the scenario there. So it, property, power, it could be anything for anyone, but these are very specific patterns. And this is a beautiful way what you shared, that I see myself that I am repeating it, but I don't want to. So please take care of this. I don't want to do anything with it. But the only thing is, many a times we take it back, like give it to me again. But again, I think that's why remembering and offering and this detailed consecration has to go on and on and on. Yeah. Yeah.
So we can see when we start writing to the mother, there is not one page or 2 pages, it just continues. And I will tell the mother, Pavu, Ninga, every time you have to listen to all my stories. Power means, poor mother, you have to listen to me. So boring story, but still I don't have anyone else. You have to listen. No, I don't have anyone.
I think there is no point, because in the ashram stories we see that people, sadhaks or people in the ashram, are asking for such little things to the mother, and she is very genuinely replying to them, that mother, this doesn't suit me, can I eat that? And mother is replying. So it's really funny also. But I think since mother is mother and we are all children of the mother, so we can, for anything, whatever trivial it is, we can go to her and she would give specific attention. Yeah. Yeah.
I think coming to the last para now, the divine is everywhere. Yes, things don't seem to be divine. Even here, right? Like when we look at things, they don't seem to be divine. It's weird. Yesterday I was just talking about the various, the freedom struggles, like say the Africa, the one in India, to my 8-year-old. And the question was that, how can God allow that to happen? So like say in America, how they, got slaves from Africa, they went to their country, they ruled it, they got people there and made them stay slaves here for so many years. At the same time, they have that, declaration of independence, that every soul is free. But how clever for them to show that, to just say that they are not even human. So the Declaration of Independence doesn't apply to them. Like how clever and how sadly clever. So we do keep hitting this thing, right? That it doesn't seem that divine is everywhere, and yet everything is means to an end. There are things that one needs to transcend, and that's why these difficulties are given. That too doesn't stop me. So things don't seem to be divine. As for me, I see only one solution. If you want to help humanity, there is only one thing to do. It is to take yourself as completely as possible and offer yourself to the divine. That is the solution. Because in this way, at least, the material reality which you represent will be able to grow a little more like the divine. I think it's so important because we keep on wondering, right? Like, how do we change this? How do we correct that situation? How do we correct that person? Meanwhile, always forgetting, what about me, right? We discuss this often, that am I done? Have I reached, wherever it is that I need to reach? So taking yourself out of the picture, one drop of poison less in the ocean makes a difference. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, inviting reflections, because I think a lot can be said here.
I think just reflecting upon this, that a person may be actually outwardly doing a lot and trapped in ego, and the other one may be just very homely and not doing much outwardly in terms of really doing something, but very vigilant and working on oneself. And I think this last paragraph really tells us that that is our social responsibility, to keep working on ourselves and to continue this process of purification. Yeah.
Yeah, I was considering how even in that first part, linking it to this part about, the divine knows perfectly well what's needed for the world and you're not needed. And in terms of looking after one's own inner work, it's like it seems that's the biggest responsibility, is to, if I can in a situation remove the I, as in the ego identity, and just show up as something that's not taking everything so personally, or just with a lot more love and clarity, then it allows a whole other space to open up for, say, it's just one person in front of me, a family member or a friend, but then it kind of percolates outwards, right? Like now it's already just changed this one situation, and that person maybe has felt heard or given the space to be themselves, or just for something else to happen than if my ego had got involved. And then now that person goes away, or I go away to another situation, and there's already more peace or something more spacious spreading. And perhaps that's just it, that the biggest work we can do is, and the biggest service to the divine is this inner work, the yoga, because it percolates out in all kinds of ways that we can't even track or see. And there's a chance for perhaps more and more people to be touched, even if they don't know the yoga.
I think here what I feel is that what happens is a byproduct, right? Like my focus is me, right? Like, am I doing what I can? Am I dropping what I can? Am I letting go of what I can? Am I watching my triggers? Am I, becoming, like we were saying, less poison? And what becomes out of that is a natural happening. Like with my efforts through grace, what happens, that just, it happens. Like I don't do it so that people can see. I don't do it, so that, and yet that can be a motivation too. I remember, in a Cave in the Snow, how Jetsunmala shares that, she had a dream that she's in a prison and she had to get out of the prison, and it was really hard. Like, she and two other people, they managed to get out of the prison and they were running to the other side. And it was so hard. And she said she would have stopped if not for the other two people, because she had to run for their freedom. So if it's a motivation, that's great. But otherwise, if it's, that too can become a sticking point. I feel that I have to have that image or that, perception, whatever, that persona, that thing, so that others can see and get motivated. I mean, yeah. So again, if that's helping me, that's great. I really like this also, that the material reality which you represent, it's not that material reality that you are, right? Like just a use of words will be able to grow a little more like the divine. How beautiful. Should we move ahead now?
Yeah, why not? Yes.
Yeah. So if anybody is willing, they can read this next paragraph, the whole thing. We are starting from we are told.
Yeah.
Can I read?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
please.
We are told that the divine is in all things. Why don't things change? Because the divine does not get a response. Everything does not respond to the divine. One must search the depths of the consciousness to see this. What do you want to do to serve humanity? Give food to the poor? You can feed millions of them. That will not be a solution. This problem will remain the same. Give new and better living conditions to men? The divine is in them. How is it that things don't change? The divine must know better than you the conditions of humanity. What are you? You represent only a little bit of consciousness and a little bit of matter. It is that you call myself. If you want to help humanity, the world, or the universe, the only thing to do is to give that little bit entirely to the divine. Why is the world not divine? It is evident that the world is not in order. So, the only solution to the problem is to give what belongs to you. Give it totally, entirely to the divine, not only for yourself, but for humanity, for the universe. There is no better solution. How do you want to help humanity? You don't even know what it needs. Perhaps you know still less what power you are serving. How can you change anything without indeed having changed yourself?
Yes, thank you so much. So it feels that instead of the question that why is the world not divine, it's coming to this, that why am I not divine, right? Like what am I doing to move towards more divinity in and around me? The divine does not get a response. Everything does not respond to the divine. And I see this in me, right? Like Sadaji was also talking about that I want to. I didn't want to go there, and yet I kept going there. So I kept going there to the divine, that I can't stop. And that's the way it has to be. And when I recognize this in all honesty to myself, and there's compassion for everybody, right? Then the judgment changes into compassion, that I know how hard it is, and you're more kind to yourself and others. And one must search the depths of the consciousness to see this, this not responding. Why do we want to serve humanity? Again, coming back to the intention, the center of operation, which is very important. So you represent only a little bit of consciousness, a little bit of matter. It is that you call myself. If you want to help humanity, the world or the universe, the only thing to do is to give that little bit entirely to the divine. Yeah. And I guess this is very reflected. How can you change anything without indeed having changed yourself?
यहाँ पे I am remembering what Mother talks about approaching the divine. She talks about rather than pulling divine towards you, you open yourself. You divine is anyway or everywhere. So you just like I am a stone and I have to become like a sponge, open, porous, and receptive. Because to a stone, the rain can't do much, but to a sponge, rain can do, make it wet. So I was wondering that this also relates with what Mother talks about self-opening, opening yourself to the divine, rather than asking and demanding. That's also another approach that many of us initially use, that why aren't you giving me this? I have given myself to you. But and the same way we also take our relationships, where we talk about love in relationships, there also the approach is similar. So I really appreciate this fact that the way we approach human love, and if we can refine that, and rather than asking from a relationship, we can just open ourselves to a relationship. And I think same can be a ladder to our connection to the divine. Like now I'm not asking and just opening myself to the divine, who is anyway everywhere. So that demand has gotten away, and I think that demand really spoils even human relationships, and also doesn't give us much in the divinity aspect. So this offering and this giving, this whatever little bit you are, give it. And when I give it, then I don't have any personal demands of myself. And even if remnants of that may be there, I don't give them importance. Like they're there, unfilled wish. There is a bag lying in the corner, unfulfilled wishes, unfulfilled demands, desires. But it doesn't matter, because there is something more that matters, which is just being there and open, and more open to the divine. Yeah. And I think this also would relate, although I don't think anyone would be uh, needing that, but or maybe consciously wanting to do that, I don't know. But I think this would also resonate with the dissolution of slowly the ego consciousness. Not that it cannot come any moment, it can of course come back any moment, but in that moment where I personally don't want anything from any situation, so then the ego is not in action. So there is no personal interest, and that's why in prayers and meditations, Mother uses the word disinterested love. A love which is not having any personal interest, rather than just loving. So I think that corresponds with me both in human love there also, because all the time we are so interested, what will I get, what will I get, oh I haven't gotten much, so it spoils the relationship. So there too, and with respect to the divine, connection with the divine also, if this surrender can be disinterested, that yes, I'm surrendering, but there is no personal interest that I have, so that can be really very I would say liberating, from that trap of the ego consciousness, which always is begging, begging, begging. Yeah.
Which is the most difficult thing to overcome in our life. I mean, we surrender ourselves and we think that we've surrendered ourselves, but still at the back of our mind, we think, okay, we've surrendered ourselves. Maybe then it will happen. So, it's not like we're giving total surrender. We're still thinking, okay, kar liya, but maybe it may happen what we want. That is the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the thing.
And I think that's where what Shardaji was sharing, that you can see that that ripple of the demand is still there. And just because it's a very old pattern, sticky something which is still operating. And intellectually, theoretically, I do understand that I don't want to follow it. So just looking at it, as Mother says, become conscious of it and keep offering what can be done. Yeah.
I think what you said about, that box of or that suitcase of desires or, whatever, like complaints maybe or unfulfilled things. I mean, it's always there. There's always something of the lower nature wanting to crop up. But we have this false perception that that makes me dirty, right? Like, and yet I do have the power not to give it importance. And if I am not giving it importance for all practical purposes, that does not rule me. But somehow I have this image of spirituality or purity, and I feel that if that's there, okay, it's not, just that learning how to ignore the things that are unnecessary is, I think, a great step. We cannot straight away believe that they would not come. And I wonder if one reaches a state that they don't come. And it's very important to know that, right? Because otherwise we keep, again, I don't know, not understand, just keep misunderstanding, but to ignore what is not good for me, even if it's coming to me again and again, coming in me, is very powerful.
I think there it really helps what Sri Aurobindo talks no about the Aryan spirit, what he talks like in great detail, and he talks there about how all these things, desires, and basically everything that disturbs us. Desires may promise us something, but they do disturb us. So he says that all of these are intruders and they must be sacrificed. They are not our true self. They do not belong to our true self. And he says that all these are intruders, spirits enemies, he uses the word. And these are the ones which you should be like, you have to put ahuti of them, you have to put into the fire, by which your true self, which is the spirit, that grows. And this has to be done constantly, as you were sharing, that we don't see the end of it, but we see that each moment I have the possibility of putting all that is disturbing or that may promise some external satisfaction, which I don't need now. I think parallelly it is also required, because if I am inwardly lacking, then outwardly I will actually allow desire in. I would say, okay, come in, because I'm really in lack. So maybe you give me something. So I think parallelly, we also have to nurture and really kind of, live a good life inwardly, so that that contentment which a desire promises is already there with me. Because if that contentment is not with me, then I would not be able to refuse the desire many a times, because it promises me some satisfaction and I am in lack now. So I allow it in, come in. I may suffer later. I may regret later that why did I allow it in? It gave me so much of pain, although it promised pleasure. But the thing is that when I am lacking from within, I can't refuse the desire. I'm not in a state to refuse the desire. So this parallel rehabilitation of our own inner being, really connecting with our true being within and enjoying basically our own company, We usually are not our best friends. So basically enjoying our good, rich company. I think there you have that contentment, and next time the desire or any wrath or anger or whatever comes in, now you can say, next door, please, something like that. Yeah. So I feel that that inner rehabilitation gives me the strength to say no. Otherwise, I don't even have the strength to say no. Yeah. Yes, Priyanka?
Yeah, so just a reflection that just came to my mind that so long as the ego is there, desire will always be there. And to whatever extent the ego is there in us, I feel to that extent the desire will have its hold on us. Because what is ego? It is nothing but a sense of a feeling of lack, that I am less. And with that feeling, obviously, the opposite will be there to gather, to acquire, to accomplish, or whatever we can say, to desire for things. So, yes, it's a journey. And as we say that ego, we have to let go it, and it's a journey to, from wherever we have to start, we let go a bit of it, and we later on add on to it, and we keep moving back and forth. And in that moving back and forth, I'm sure we're also moving little inch by inch forward also to our own perfect self or whatever, and whatever lifetimes, howsoever lifetimes it might take. But I guess that ego is the thing that has to be, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I think that's why masters have linked uh, linked us to self inquiry. For example, Ramana Maharishi asks about doing self inquiry. So if you have a demand, just go back in yourself and find out who is this who is having this demand. So that is one way. And there, actually, if we go to the depths of it, we find that there is nothing. So as they say, that ego appears to be there, but it's, if you go close to it, you can't touch it. It's not tangible. And all that you find is consciousness. And there is this famous story of from the, I think, Upanishads, where there is rope and snake. That if you look at it from far, it's looking like a snake. You are, in fear and maybe trying to prepare, how shall I attack it? But when you go close, you see that, oh, there is nothing to fear. So that's why going close has been advised to us by many masters, that go close, investigate this ego. Who is asking? Who is demanding? Because when we truly, truly, really go close, then we can't find anything that demands. There is only consciousness that we find, that is aware of itself and also of all the happenings. But again, it's not theoretically done. It has to be a practical realization. We have enough theory in the books, but yet we are all still hanging in ignorance. Yeah. So I think when I investigate, when I truly really want to understand even desire, as you were linking, I think ego is very much linked with desire, since it's always in lack and tension. So then I can actually go close to it and actually, go to the roots of it. But how many times when a desire arises, I go to the roots of it? That's the question. Most of the times it's just coming and I say, okay, let me follow it. Yeah. So it depends on my urge to go to the depths. And I was just reflecting, on the groups also, that it's really like many a times it appears like there's hardly any time. Because as Kabirji says that, please wake up, wake up, wake up, you are losing time. And now just visiting somebody, who was uh, not very well with the brain aspect, and one could see that how fragile we are. That now, right now, we have the opportunity that we can sit, reflect, contemplate, and when I want to remember the mother, I can remember the mother, and when I want to read about Sri Aurobindo, his works, I can read and reflect upon it. When I want to come back to breath, I can, because many of us, if a misfiring happens in the brain, one loses that capacity. So that's why Sri Aurobindo, Saint Kabir says in many couplets that don't lose any time, because when the body will give up, then you won't be able to do it. On the other hand, he, for a sadhak on the path, he many a times also says dhire dhire re mana. So don't be too, don't be too agitated. It will happen, things will happen. But parallelly he is also saying, what are you doing, why are you wasting time, get up, do it now. So I feel that there is an urgency, because for those of us for whom it really matters, because no matter wherever we are, we really don't truly know who we truly are. And there is much to be done, like done in the sense personal effort.
Not only do we know who we are, but we also don't know how much more time we have. And that is the most important thing as of now, the time. So we have to make the most of every moment, I guess.
Absolutely. And I was also wondering that, because this fellow who was having some problem, difficulty in the brain, now he remembers all the long term habits he has. Now, that is just a specific condition I am referring to. It may be something else with somebody else. So I was wondering that, for example, if I am used to having a cup of tea at 5 o'clock, so the moment, even in this difficult state, when I look at time, like it's so hard and grained in me that the moment I see 5 o'clock, I know that I need to have tea. So I was wondering that, can I make use of this opportunity and develop like such hard ingrained, like maybe remembering the mother all the time, so that the moment I want, I can remember the mother, it's like just a click away. So yeah, it's very interesting to see that how these habits, we are ruled by habits, and even when the brain is not functioning really well, the old imprints, they are still functional, like they are running.
So I just want to give an example of my own sister.
Mhm.
Uh, she was a yoga master. She was running a Montessori school. She was really an active person. She's 78 years old. And suddenly she fell down, fractured her hip, and now she's got brain fog. So I don't know whether she's going to come out of that and what is going to happen. And it's absolutely miserable to see her like this. One person who has been such an active member of our family is now just she has nothing. She doesn't know how to even carry on her own activities. So that's what life teaches us, lessons every minute.
Absolutely. And I think also that every moment we can be really so grateful for being relatively functional, being relatively okay, and in a space that we can remember the divine name. I think that's really a big blessing already. Forget about total surrender not happening right now. But already, I think we are much in a blessed state already. Yeah. So, not to forget that. Yes.
Monica, can you share one of the Kabir's couplet on this?
On
Anyone? On, wake up.
yeah. There are many. Mm, yeah, so in one he says, there is a song where he says, Jagrat rehna re, nagar mein chor avega. So be awake, be vigilant. In your city will come a thief. And he's referring, two things can be thief, either these intruders, which Sri Aurobindo talks about, or death. So it'll rob you of the capacities that you have. So be awake, be alert, be vigilant. So that's one. And of course, there are many, 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 many. Yeah.
Even that one where till when will you keep sleeping, right? Like you slept in your mother's
Yeah, घना दिन सो
go.
लिया रे, अब तो
Ah,
जागो
yeah,
सवेरे. Yeah. So in English, it would be you have slept for so many lifetimes. Now it's time to wake up. So, yeah.
Beautiful, Monica. Thank you.
There are many. If I just remember it, I'll share it on the group. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. So in Tamil, when you say, when you said, this, there is no time. So in Tamil, there is something called Divya Prabandham, which is written by Alvars. They are Vaishnavites, usually. They are generally. So he has written, see, we always take, we want to be friend with, people who are very mighty, powerful. And we want to be friend with the doctor. We always want to have a friendship with the people who are more powerful than us. But if you trust the divine, when you are, hale and healthy, when you keep repeating his name, so when you are not able to do that, he will come and help you. So I can read that poem if you don't mind. Yeah, in Tamil. துப்புடையாரை அடைவதெல்லாம் சோர்விடத்து துணையாவர் என்றே ஒப்பிலேனாகினும் நின் அடைந்தேன் ஆனைக்கு நீ அருள் செய்தமையால் ஏய்ப்பு என்னை வந்து நலியும் போது அங்கேதும் நான் உன்னை நினைக்க மாட்டேன் இப்போதே சொல்லி வைத்தேன் அரங்கத்தரவனை பள்ளியானே. I'll read the English also for this. People generally depend on persons whom they think will help them when they become weak and old. Even though I am not qualified and eligible person, I have surrendered unto you, O my Lord. The other day you saved the elephant Gajendra when it was caught by an alligator and cried out for your help. At the old age, when I am fraught and diseased, I may not be able to call you, even think of you. Hence, I would prefer to call you now itself when I am hale and healthy, so that you can save me at my odd hours. Oh my Lord, Sri Ranganatha, who is in reclining pose at the divine Sri Ranga Kshetra, at the divine Sri Ranga Kshetra. So this is a very famous, we call it as Pasuram. We sing it almost every day. My teacher always says, you have to keep remembering. You do not know what will happen to you the next moment. So when you are awake, when you are conscious, you please call the divine's name. So I remembered of this.
There is exactly a similar bhajan from Kabir also.
Okay,
Where he
beautiful.
says that it's better to remember when you are hale and hearty, as you were sharing, so that when you are, not in that capacity, you can be taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, thank you. So I think today maybe we can end the reflections here and take rest of the passage next time.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And
Thank you.
before we end, just 1 minute of silence, just thanking Grace for allowing us to have such reflections, sharing the merit of the session with everybody. And may all beings be truly well and truly happy. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.